This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Baby's crying, that's normal, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to step away. Never shake a baby. Shaking can kill, and 1 in 4 don't survive. Survivors often face permanent brain damage. Learn more and give today at nevershakemn.com.
Amen to that. Common Man here, along with Tennessee, the legendary Mark Rosen joins us as well.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Beautiful afternoon it is.
Did you see ESPN just basically, they dissed your Minnesota Timberwolves club? The ESPN.
I did not.
ESPN says they think they'll win 43 games and be the 8th seed.
Oh, wow.
In the NFC. The NBA's Western Conference. You have them as the 2nd seed,
right,
probably winning close to 60 games.
Well, I don't know who is it the panel of the ESPN?
I feel like it was like their analytics.
Because I'm when I watch, ESPN, of course, is heavy into it. Now, this year it's going to be NBC because, they get the rights back and they're going to be doing the original theme song, et cetera, and they're going to be spiffing up the product. But ESPN.
That song wails.
Yeah, I know it does. The John Tesh song?
Yeah.
It's so good. So I don't know. To answer your question, if it's an analytics guy, then great. Good for him. I don't really care. If the experts are all weighing in on the panel that are, you're used to watching.
Right.
Then you go, okay, do you think they're going to finish 8th? And I'm like, I like to hear the rationale, but I don't agree with it. But that's fine. That's why we have all these preseason things that go on. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, yeah, I was just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably any number of. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think that they would have them drop. I understand, 4th or 5th or whatever, but to go to 8th, it's.
They were like the 7th seed last year, were they not?
Well, they blew a lot of early
6 or
games.
7. What were they?
They were 6, I think.
I think they were 6th. Yeah. So that's fine.
And they have a penchant.
No one remembers
at least they
that.
did. Tennessee remembered. They have a penchant for losing. The problem is that they've really hurt themselves the last 2 years, I think, and especially last year in the seeding by losing games to, teams that have got a dozen wins or 14 wins.
Yeah.
And then what would always annoy me was after the game, the quotes from the locker room were just, well, the other team tried harder.
Well, we talked about that. That has to change. And when you talk the maturity of this team that's still based around a lot of young guys, has to come internally, that we can't afford to have those nights again. Again, if you want to look at the Standard Bearer, and right now it's Oklahoma City, they didn't have many of those nights when, and they have a target on their back. They have, and even more so this year when every team is going to look at playing them, especially on their own home court, as kind of a championship type game. We're going to be able to measure ourselves against the champs. We got to put our best foot forward. Well, the Wolves, unfortunately, they've stubbed their toe way too many times, even at home against teams that they should, and they've had like double-digit leads, and which is typical in the NBA. But they've blown them, and that's where the maturity has to happen this year in order to get that lofty goal of maybe getting a higher seed.
I probably spend an inordinate amount of time talking about the quarterback controversy here in Minnesota. Even if maybe it's not even a controversy, but
it's a quandary.
Here's a text message that says, "Common really sounds more like people who are desperate for wins want Wentz, unable to see bigger picture. The rest of us can't see the big picture. Wentz people want to win now, no matter what, more than happy to settle for 10-7 in a first round knockout. Same thing we've done for eternity. I'd much rather have a terrible season with McCarthy so he can have reps and a pick than an early round knockout with Wentz. I think you're wrong that the McCarthy people want him to start because he has the best chance to win. I didn't say that. They want him to start for reps and something new. More than happy with a terrible season and a good draft pick, and I'm in the minority. I can't follow that logic. That would be like, remember when the Twins finally broke that streak? They won the division.
Sure.
They broke that 0-18 streak, and everybody was beside themselves because the team basically said, we're not trying to win. We're going to cut payroll. Yep. And people were beside themselves. Right. This would be the same thing. We went 14-3, and guess what? We don't care if we win this year. We're just going to break in a new quarterback.
I got to assure you, there's
That's
no
what he
one,
just said.
I
He
know.
said he wants reps. He would just as soon have a terrible season just so McCarthy gets a season under his belt. So just throw away a season. A team that went 40, and the team certainly didn't feel that way because they went out and signed 4 really expensive players, 2 in the interior of the offensive line and 2 in the defense. Expensive players because they didn't want to say, "Oh, we went 14-3. It was too bad. We got beat by Detroit. We had a chance for the number 1 seed. We got beat by Detroit. We got crushed by the Rams, embarrassed by them. But we're going to rebuild both lines. But we really don't care if we win." The moves the Vikings made on their 2 lines on the interior of their offensive area was a clear signal that they felt we can make another playoff spot and push for a big game. They just felt they could do it with McCarthy, but there's nobody out there that just says, "Well, if we have a bad season, I just want to see McCarthy take his lumps and get them better." That's preposterous. That's not what you do. You don't do that. You only do that if you're a bottom feeder team. If you're 2 in 30, you were 2 in 17 games. If you were 2 in 15 or 3 in 14 and you draft the number 1 pick overall, that's when you take your lumps. You don't take your lumps after a 14-3 season. Spend all that money on the interior of the line. That's crazy talk from that text message.
Well, it's an armchair fantasy football player is what that is, and that's fine. That's being a fan, but I can assure you there's no one over TCO, Orthopedic Studios, as they say, or the entire building that would echo his thought, like you said. There's no one. There's no like we're going to build for the future. If you're the New York Jets right now, and you're not going anywhere. You're probably the Cleveland Browns just traded back for Joe Flacco. I mean, there are teams that are already looking ahead. The Vikings are not, not even close. And because of the ebb and flow of the National Football League season and how things can change on a dime, and the talent that they have, as you mentioned, and then how they invested in those lines, they're not going, we'll just, if we finish, that thought hasn't entered anyone's mind over there. That would be almost a fireable offense. The Will family, the general manager, there's this way too much invested in time, scouting, all of that, to think, well, we're just going to kind of go through the motions here, and we finish whatever 9-8, and we get a better. There's nothing that no one's talking about next year's draft or even thinking about that. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think he's in the vast minority of it. He's happy with a miserable season as long as McCarthy gets his reps.
And the fact if McCarthy does start next week, it has nothing to do with that backing up that theory. It's just the idea that. And first of all, we don't know, and we won't know till next week. And granted, it's his left shoulder, but Wentz suffered, an injury of some sort. Obviously, he finished the game on adrenaline, but we don't know if that's going to hamper him at all. I don't believe it will, but we don't know. We're not getting any medical updates this week because the Vikings are off. They're getting. I'm sure Carson Wentz is in there every single morning, getting treatment. As a bunch of players are, like Aaron Jones and go down the line. I mean, Blake Cashman and Van Ginkel's neck injury, which is problematic, and we're not hearing even from the coach the other day that we talk about guys getting back on the field. Donovan Jackson will be returning to that offensive line from he had a wrist injury, but that's a little bit different than a neck injury that could really derail someone's season and potentially his career, and that's something that they're very concerned with. But all those guys are, as they say, Chris Hovan famously once said, they're in the training room.
Guys are laying it on the line.
They're laying it on the line, and that's what they're doing this week. But the rest of them are enjoying some well-deserved time off this week. The last time they have any time off this season.
Yeah.
So we'll find out a lot more. But yeah, the Wentz shoulder thing was, he suffered an injury, and it's not going to prevent him from throwing a football, but you don't want to throw him out there if he's not healthy. So we'll see how that works out by next week. Yeah.
If the playoffs started today, I think the Vikings would be a playoff team.
I saw that the pairings, they'd be playing at San Francisco.
Yeah. I like their chances playing San Francisco. The 2 quarterback whisperers going head to head. Kyle Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell.
This is, I think after watching this weekend's game, people, and the beauty of all of it is that it changes so fast. Perceptions of teams, perceptions of players. how standings are going to roll. And it's just like, it's crazy to overreaction. They always talk about this. Overreaction. Yeah, it's the nature of the game because it's once a week and you overreact to a team and, how they're performing in October. And October football doesn't even resemble December football. And you have to obviously put yourself in a position right now to contend, to be in that, to be in the chase, to be in the race. But, if you're just there, and the Vikings are certainly there right now, no one is thinking about, let's just kind of mailing it in or throwing the rookie out, not the rookie, but the second-year player out there. And if he doesn't do well, we got a better draft pick. No. They're trying to win a division. They're trying to get a playoff spot. And that's a long ways away. They've played 5 games.
I keep getting text messages of people that they don't care. They think they've given up on the season already.
No, they haven't.
No, that's what look.
Why would they?
I don't know. He says, here's what he says. Wentz is not going to win us the Super Bowl. I want to know if McCarthy's the real deal or the next Ponder now, rather than kicking the bucket even further down the line. Why wait 4 years to find out what we can what we can in 3 instead? You said first round quarterback and set back an organization 5+ years. We need to know now. Okay.
Yeah, but
there's nobody in that organization. But here's what I'm trying to tell people: you can want them, but that's not what they're going to do. Everything they did in the off season was designed to.
Right.
You went 14-3. That was my Twins comparison. Yeah. That's why everybody's so mad at the Twins. You finally make postseason, win the division. You finally break that 0-18 streak, and now you're going to cut payroll and not try to win next year.
Correct.
That would have been like the Vikings saying, "We know we need help in the interior, the 2 lines, but we're not going to do anything. We're just going to stay where we are. We're just going to try to put our quarterback." It's so what I'm saying is, I think O'Connell was convinced he could contend, make the playoffs, and make a playoff push with a rookie quarterback. He was either that high on McCarthy.
You talking about last year?
Going into this year. This year, that he was, not last year, this year. Yeah. That he either felt that because you don't make those moves and spend that kind of money on veteran players for this season if you don't feel like it's for you. You're coming off of 14-3. He obviously felt that he could do it with McCarthy, either because he was really high on McCarthy or really high in his ability to coach up quarterbacks, or both.
And to add to that theory, Common, is that, Donovan Jackson was the first guard or offensive lineman the Vikings had drafted in the first round since Randall McDaniel. You know how many years ago that was? That's another indication about how they needed to bolster the what was not just perceived, but was absolutely the weak spot in this lineup. And now you look at it and go, we don't know what's going to happen with Ryan Kelly. Brandell. I mean, it looks like he's, whether that's a 1-game showing or whatever it is, but it looks like he's pretty comfortable in that position. But getting obviously Christian Darrisaw back maybe full time. O'Neal hopefully will be able to come back. We don't know the severity. He's got that, the knee injury, but it sounded like, thankfully, it was not, surgery wasn't required, but he might be able to, fight through it and play through it. But Donovan Jackson's coming back, and they invested heavily in him, and he's playing awfully well. So and if J.J. McCarthy starts next week, it's not an indication that we're just going to let the season ride out. I mean, we don't know how he's going to play against a great Eagles team.
I'm convinced the head coach thinks McCarthy can win right now. That's why he's playing him. That's why they went into the season with him. That's why they said, "We love you, Sam Darnold, but we're not going in that direction." Aaron, hey, I love you. I had you come in as a professional courtesy because you wanted to play here, and we have a good relationship. But we're going in the direction of the kid, and I believe that that O'Connell not only believes in McCarthy, but he believes in his own ability to coach up quarterbacks.
Well,
that's why they went into this.
I agree with that, too. Unfortunately, that whole big game plan was derailed last year when McCarthy could not even practice last year. And so he's behind the 8 ball. Then he suffers his ankle injury. He's even worse behind the 8 ball. And we've talked about it. The young quarterbacks in this league, second-year quarterbacks of that class that are performing at a high level after how many games? Every NFL quarterback worth his salt has always talked about, man, you need this amount of snaps, this amount of reps. I mean, O'Connell's talked about it. JJ's not there yet, but that doesn't mean he's not going to get those reps and may start next Sunday. I would not be surprised at all.
Are you ready to laugh your face off?
Yes.
Just a couple of pickpockets. The Petty Theft Tour with Common and Meat Sauce taking over Max is on the Green and Spicer this coming Saturday.
Wow.
Sold over.
Spicy Comedy and Spicer.
Spicy Comedy and Spicer. And tickets are on the uptick, by the way. We're over 100 now. Fast approaching 200. 150. We're hoping to sell 125 tickets. But this Saturday, you can get your tickets at eventbrite.com or be a part of the heist right now. Be the 11th caller, 1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. You'll win tickets for Saturday night's show. But Tennessee also has a keyword to try for a national cash contest.
The Fan and 2 Men in a Junk Truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword BILLS at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is BILLS. Enter now at KFAN.com. This football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 pass Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Tennessee. Mark Rosen here. You're out tomorrow, so a wild start the season tomorrow, right, Tennessee? Who do we play?
Yes, St. Louis, at St. Louis.
St. Louis Blues.
Yep.
What's your prediction?
I guess that's why they call it the Blues.
Yes. You have the Wolves finishing as they will finish second in the West and be the number 2 seed, winning close to 60 games. Where do you see the
in terms of points or what? I don't know. I mean, standings. I mean, just like a 4th place finish or making the playoffs.
Yeah. Do you? How do you think the Wild?
It's so hard to predict because of injuries and everything else. I think they're a playoff team. Kaprizov is obviously highly motivated after signing the contract. It's all about goaltending and how these young players develop. I mean, they got to take that next step. And there's still, Zuccarello's out for quite a while. Brodin is out. No, there are not a lot of veterans on this team that they can rely on. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, potentially get off to a little bit of a rocky start. But, I think you always start with the fact that they're going to make the postseason. And then, the thing with the Wild, of course, is can they get past the first round? And that's all matchups and who they're going to play in the first round, and et cetera, et cetera. But you can always hope for the best. That's all you can do, and hope that obviously the Brock Fabers of the world and some of these newer guys that they have some talent, and it's just a matter of Bill Guerin's talked about it, having these guys kind of take that next step, and that's the biggest thing, because they didn't sign any other big free agents. There's no one that came in that said, oh boy, we got someone to pair with Kaprizov. Tarasenko is a name, but he's 5 years ago he was a really big name, and whether he's going to discover that fountain of youth, and there are a lot of players that do in the NHL, play at a really high level late in their careers, but you got to hope that he does that. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just they got to make the postseason and hope for the best in next April.
I know Wild fans have been extremely patient with this franchise over the last decade and a half, and have seen a lot of failures come to playoffs. I still believe, and I think this is the way the front office and the ownership views it as well, this is still a stepping stone year.
Yeah.
That I think last year they described it as like year 2 of a 5-year plan. And I think this is. We're going to get the feet wet of all our younger guys, but to assume that in basically year 1 for a lot of these guys that they are going to be, Stanley Cup contenders is probably asking a bunch. But I think it's, all right, let's integrate the younger guys, give them experience, and then 2-3 years down the road. Plus, it is possible come trade deadline. Now they finally have flexibility from a salary cap standpoint where they can actually go out and be buyers for once, whereas they have not been able to do that
would be nice.
For a long time. So I still look at this as transition, and then next year, 2 years from now, is when, hey, this is the chance that we should have everything here together to make a run for the Cup.
And this is nothing to do with the final standings, but keep in mind this is also an Olympic year, and the NHLers are going to be playing in the Olympics. And Bill Guerin, I believe,
except for Kaprizov, because the Russians can't play.
Right, the Russians cannot play, but Boldy's going to play, right? And I mean, Guerin's the GM, isn't he? Of the
yes, he is
of the U.S. team. So we are going to see that again next February. The league's shutting down for 3 weeks. I believe. And that's a big deal for a lot of, especially these young players that get an opportunity to make, the USA team. And, we know the days of the amateur teams are long gone, but keep that in mind. Yeah, that's right. No Russian team in the Olympics.
What do you think of that?
I don't like it.
I
don't like the politics of, not having them in there. I just think that, there's so many great Russian players.
I feel like the actual citizens of Russia shouldn't be punished based off of their politicians.
Well, listen, this even goes back to, I know, 1980, but it came close to, the Russians were going to not go to Lake Placid because the whole thing with Afghanistan and what went on. And I mean, politics were a part of it then. And then they decided that we're going to go and we're going to clean up and show everybody we're the best team in the world again and again and again, and we know how that worked out. But yeah, I agree. I mean, we root for these players. It's not a patriotic. I mean, who's more popular than Kirill Kaprizov? Well, where does he live? He lives in Russia. So, I mean, and Ovechkins of the world. I mean, yeah, we don't care about where they're from when they're playing in the regular season, and I don't think they should be penalized because, again, the politicians have made it impossible for them not to. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
have I told you how much I like that Dallas Mavericks roster?
You brought it up yesterday.
Oh, did I? I don't remember talking
13,
about it.
14 times.
I don't remember that. I love that roster.
Well, I'm glad you do.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Kind of switch gears.
I think it might be one of the best rosters ever assembled in the history of the National Basketball Association.
You know what? I applaud you for your outlandish statement.
I think they'll be the number 1 seed, and I think they'll go 16-2 in postseason.
Yeah.
They'll only lose 2 games.
Man.
And they're going to lose the first 2 games of their first series. They're going to rattle off 16 in a row.
Well, it's a long time between now and having that next discussion when you were going to say, remember when you said that back in October?
You're getting ripped, by the way.
For what?
Rosen has no problem putting the Wolves into the number 2 seed, but doesn't know where to put the Wild because of injuries. Do injuries not happen in the NBA?
Well, of course they do. But I'm saying that
I always love that
more from a talent standpoint. Okay. I said they're young. Tennant just laid it out. I don't think anyone's expecting. I think the expectations for the Wolves are a lot higher than they are for the Wild. That's just a fact. I mean,
I agree.
And maybe they'll. Listen. Going back to 2003 with Risebrough and Jacques Lemaire coaching, and that team wasn't supposed to go anywhere. All of a sudden, they went from Colorado to Vancouver, and they're playing Anaheim in the Western Conference Finals, and Giguère shut them out every game. That team wasn't supposed to go anywhere. They didn't want them. I mean, the owner's really like, hey, listen, we're not ready for this yet.
Yeah.
And so we know that a hot goalie can make a big difference, but that's a different conversation than where we are right now.
I have a controversial Timberwolves question to ask you, and then I want to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball playoffs. It's gotten interesting in a couple of different cities.
Watched that last night. Yeah.
So we'll do that. Other side of the break, it's Tenneby, Common Man, and Mark Rosen right here on The Fan. No more comedy shows to promote right now, other than hope to see you at Max's on the Green in Spicer Saturday. Did I tell you that the Spicer City Council had a meeting last night, and they're calling Saturday Meat Sauce and Common Man Day in Spicer?
Is it a proclamation?
They're giving us keys to the city.
Wow. Just in Spicer, not New London?
Which is, I guess they're feuding like the Hatfields and McCoys in Spicer in New London. Though handing the keys to anything to Meat Sauce and I could be a big mistake, because this is the petty theft tour. We're just a couple of pickpockets, so I don't think they should do that.
It sounds like Saturday only. Anyone who commits a petty theft gets pardoned.
Yes.
That's what they're doing.
And you know what else they're doing?
No.
They're having a parade for Meat Sauce.
What?
Well, it's only about a block long.
Oh, that's all right.
But it'll be for us.
That'll be fun.
My favorite player in the NBA is Victor Wembanyama.
Right.
He has grown 2 inches since last year.
God.
He was listed at
7'4"?
He was listed at 7'3" last year. Now the roster say he's 7'5".
Come on. Seriously?
That's the story.
Above average at that.
They listed him as 7'3".
Well, he's still a kid. How old is he? 22 or something?
I don't think
it's that old.
I think it's his legend that's growing. Is what it is.
Well,
I don't did he? Come on, he didn't grow 2 inches.
You never know. It's coming as late spurt like that. I mean, guys do grow in their early 20s.
I got a controversial question I'm about to ask you.
He's 21 years old.
He's only 21.
He's only 21.
Man. Wow. Victor.
And I would trade any player in the NBA right now for him.
Yeah. He's going to be a stud. No, he already is.
Will he lose any of his coordination growing another 2?
Well, that's a good
2
question.
inches.
That's a good question. If he can't make it in the NBA, he could try to block field goals in the National Football League. Do you think this is a controversial Wolves question?
Right.
Do you think
that's interesting?
In order for the Wolves to get to that next step, to get to the NBA Finals, they need an MVP-like season out of Ant?
Of course they do.
Or do you think that it has to be MVP-like season or just a really good season?
No, I mean, I think he's got to be an SGA type of season. You look at the teams that end up getting there, almost without fail, there's one player in particular that is an MVP candidate. That it comes down to the last 2 or 3 in their respective conferences. So 100% Ant has to be in that conversation if they're going to move the needle and get not just to the Western Conference Finals but beyond it. And I think that's what he's dedicated himself to this offseason and looking at what he needs to do to keep improving at his young age. And the competition is getting stiffer by the day, and the players, the talent level continues to improve. But yes, I mean he has to be the guy that. The old Kirby Puckett jump on my back next spring in the playoffs in particular. He's got to play even at a higher level if the Wolves want to get going to the NBA Finals.
Speaking of climbing on one's back, Toronto had a 2-0 lead over the New York Yankees going into Game 3 last night, and they had a 3 or 4 run lead early in the game?
6-1 lead in the third inning.
And then Aaron Judge rose to the occasion. How about this box score for him?
Oh, my goodness.
He had 3 hits and 4 at-bats, scored 3 runs, had a walk, drove in 4 runs, and had 1 home run. I mean, that's the epitome of climbing on your back. And they were able to win that game 9-6 and extend it to a Game 4.
Yankee Stadium was awfully quiet. Toronto looked like they were going to sweep that series. And then... unfortunately, the recipient of most of that barrage from Aaron Judge was our guy, Louis Varland. Judge hit a 3-run homer off the foul pole. It was like one of those Carlton Fisk type moments where you didn't know if it was going to go fair or foul, and it clanked off the pole for a 3-run homer. And then Varland proceeded to give up a home run to Chisholm, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. It was the end of his night. But the Yankees went from trailing 6-1 to leading 7-6, and then they never looked back. So. Big momentum swing for them. Playing at Yankee Stadium, and now they play again today. I think there's 3 games today.
Tonight, the Dodgers try to wrap up against Philadelphia. That's almost. It seems like a foregone conclusion. That's an awfully talented team. Their pitching staff is, I think, almost second to none. Their everyday lineup, Ohtani. Philly's good, and I'm not saying it could be, but I would think they'll probably.
Well, they had their best chance. The Phillies common the other day. That game was. A common special. It was scoreless in the 7th inning. 2 phenomenal pitching performances by the Stars. Neither, I think, giving up more than 1 or 2 hits. Then the Dodgers just found a way, and that's what they normally do. And your Brewers team looks like they might be closing out the Cubs.
Well, I want to get to them in a moment, but the other American League, Mariners are playing the Tigers right now. They have a chance to close it out. It's Game 4 in Detroit.
That's right. It's going on
the Mariners lead 1-0. That is in the
that's a good team.
Going to the bottom of the second. The Brewers are an interesting team. They it's, I guess the comparison, like size of city and such like that would be the Twins in payroll, right? I mean, they're a mid-market team. They, I don't think they have the biggest payroll in baseball. I know they don't. And their first, they lead the series 2-0. They play at Wrigley today at 4.
Correct.
And they won their first game, if I'm not mistaken, by driving in 9. They scored 9 runs and they didn't hit a home run. They were just playing, that small ball kind of stuff, base hits, moving runners around, stealing bases. And then yesterday they win, or maybe it was 2 days ago, whenever the Game 2 was, and they win by, I think they hit 3 home runs. They can do so many different things. That's, for me, and look, I think most people that reside outside of Los Angeles or New York hate the Dodgers and the Yankees because of the payrolls and the big cities and. So they and even though other teams do spend a lot of money as well, there are other teams out there that might not be in that. The Mets, well, that's another New York team, but there are other teams that spend money, but it's certainly not at the rate that New York and Los Angeles does. If you're looking for, to me, that kind of team, and it might pain Minnesota fans because we pretty much despise everything Wisconsin. But that Brewers team is a team. I think
they're fun to watch.
Yes, that you can latch on to because they find different ways to win baseball games.
Yeah, they have such a great rivalry with the Cubs anyway because of proximity, et cetera, et cetera. But they won 97 games this year. I think that wasn't the best record in baseball, and they finished first. The Cubs were second. So they're. For them to go down without kind of putting up a fight, it would be devastating for the Cubs because they position themselves. But Milwaukee's awfully good. I don't see them losing that series. Christian Yelich, and they have a really good lineup, but they're consistent. They steal bases like crazy. And so, I mean, it's pretty hard not to root for that team. Payroll, et cetera, fan base, history. It'd be nice to see. Milwaukee and the Dodgers in a National League Championship series would be kind of, the lower rung kind of small market team against the mighty Dodgers would be, a contrast that you normally would see. And I hope Toronto can come back. And I mean, I love the city of Toronto. Love it. And I'd love to see them come back and their baseball people, Andrew Miller, who's the head of the chief executive officer for the Vikings, was a big honcho with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, he was. I didn't know.
Yeah, he came. He's got a baseball background, and he came here. I know he's cheering like crazy for. You
Toronto. Like this Toronto team, don't you?
Well, I'd like to. Yeah, I mean they're fun. I mean they're a good team, but again, it's not the glamour. I mean, it wouldn't be. We had the Yankees and the Dodgers last year in the World Series, and it was a captivating series. It had everything, including Freddie Freeman's dramatic home run. If I
Dodgers
remember.
won, right?
Yeah, they did. They did. But I think from a baseball standpoint, we haven't had that taste of it since, 91, really getting to that distance. But having Milwaukee.
We got to the ALCS once, and then didn't we? Didn't we get to the ALCS in like 2002 or 2006?
They lost to Oakland, or
didn't we get to one American League Championship Series, or did we not? Or did we just get to since 91? I thought we got to one.
Yes, it was 2002.
Yes.
The Get the Gnome team. They played the Angels.
The Angels, that was when they had the Rally Monkeys. I remember being out there. That's when David Ortiz played his last games with the Minnesota Twins.
Remember those days?
Whatever happened to him? I was out there.
That's when you had Doug Mankiewicz and Luis Rivas, Christian Guzman.
Santana?
Was Santana on the team?
I think it was at Brad Radke's time.
I might have been Brad.
Well, Radke was definitely there.
Yeah, but that was a good team. And I just remember, God, what was that kid's name? He had an uppercut swing for the Angels. Someone will text, I'm sure. He had three home runs against the Twins.
Jimmy Pearsall.
No. Adam something or other, I think. I can't remember his name. Someone will let me know.
Adam Sandler. He's coming back to town. He's got a comedy show coming up. He's going to do some songs.
Adam Kennedy or something like that. He had 3 home runs against the Twins. Yeah. Anyway, you're right. That was it. That was
Adam Kennedy.
Oh, wow. I do have a memory left.
You do.
But that was it. And David Ortiz had a wrist injury, and he's still hitting the ball, and the Twins. And a lot of teams passed on him. It's not just a matter the Twins just gave up on him. A lot of teams did. All of a sudden, he got healthy. Kind of got healthy with the Red Sox. Oh, that one hurts. Anyway, I'm enjoying it.
I can see you're pained by it. I watched you say it, and I could see the pain in your face.
I mean, it was so typical Minnesota sports. That's all. I mean, it really, of all things, Big Pappy. It just goes on not to just have a really good career, a Hall of Fame. Did everything to get in the Red Sox, giving them their first World Series in forever. So,
Wild versus Stars on Hockey Night. Next
Tomorrow
week
night.
on Tuesday. Well, on Tuesday, they're going to be on Hockey Night.
Hockey Night in Canada?
Yeah, no, they just showed it on ESPN. ESPN's going to do 2 games back to back, and we've made that game.
How about that?
Night.
Well, Kaprizov's selling a lot of jerseys.
The Stars used to be here in Minnesota. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Yeah,
well, and I've talked about that. I roll my eyes, and I think Tenneby's one of those guys. He hates them because, and that was Norm Green who did that. That wasn't the franchise. No. I still like the Stars. After the Wild, they're my second favorite team. They used to be here.
Mike McDonald Logano of all people.
It's not like everybody on the team said, we don't like it here in Minnesota, let's go. It was the owner's decision to leave. One guy, not the franchise. He owned it, so he was able to do that.
It still feels wrong that if you go to American Airlines Center in Dallas and they have Neil Broughton's jersey hanging up in the rafters, Neil Broughton never played in Dallas.
Well, they should take that down.
Yeah.
Norm was...
that should be up here in Minnesota.
One of the most arrogant people I've ever been around in my life. And I work with you every day.
Wait, hold on.
and he tried in his own way.
Did you say every day?
No, not every day. 3 days a week. The try to get
this week, you're off Thursday.
Yeah, well, it's a bye week. I got to get out of town. He tried hard in his own way.
Look at Wembanyama. Look at him.
Oh my God, you're looking at a highlight package.
He's so good. Oh. Look at Draymond talking.
I thought you were a Dallas Mavericks fan now. You can't just go back and forth. Stick with your team.
I just like Wembanyama.
Anyway, I don't want to go into the whole Norm Green saga, but he was a hard guy to be around. Leave it at that. His little dogs.
Well, he did.
His little dogs, too.
But he did. Wasn't he the owner when we went to the finals in 91? Did we go to the finals in 91?
Yes.
So then it can't be all bad.
Well, it had nothing to do with him, but I wouldn't say. But
the ownership has something. Don't they? Well, I guess maybe they really don't. I guess they don't. They're not drafting the players. They're signing the paychecks.
Yeah, they played the Pittsburgh Penguins in the finals. That was a fun time for hockey fans who weren't born back then. It was a fun time at Met Center, one of the great arenas in our country. The colored seats. Fun times.
Yep. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end.
Yeah, well, I know. Unfortunately, they did.
Who do the Gophers have this week? Football?
They play, I'm thinking.
Purdue.
Yeah. Purdue Boilermakers.
Boilermakers are just middling, right?
Yes.
They're Purdue.
Purdue, after having, for decades, it seemed like they always had a great quarterback. They were kind of quarterback U. They always had great quarterbacks.
They had Drew Brees. Then they had Drew Brees.
Before that, they had Greasy.
Oh, they did have Greasy. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them. I haven't seen the point spread for the game. I assume the Gophers are slight favorites.
Is that here?
Yes.
You're looking for a rebound game for this club, correct?
Well, I think given the fact that game was over in the first quarter. Ohio State has given up one? Are they giving up one touchdown this year? Not even that. I don't know. But you're getting back in your old weight class, as they say, using the boxing term. So I think when PJ looks at this, the success of this team this year, these are the games, of course, they have to win. Look at the schedule. Ohio State's just they play Illinois this week. I'm anxious to see how that kind of turns out. Illinois is pretty good, but they're not I don't think anyone's in Ohio State's class in the Big Ten, including Michigan this year. I think there's a wider disparity between those two teams.
Do you think Oregon can give them a run for their money?
Yeah. Do they play Oregon?
I don't know. I'm just probably in the Big Ten championship.
Oregon is no question. Oregon went took care of Penn State. So I think that's the only team that could athletically compete with Ohio State.
Well, then those California jabronis went and beat Penn State too. Penn State's dropped out of the top 25 for the first time in ages. And same with you were a big Arch Manning guy. Thought he was going to be the next superstar quarterback. Oh, you didn't know? No. And Arch,
he's a kid.
That team, they started out number one. They are now also out of the top 25.
How about that? Yeah. Little spicy expectations for that young man and the rest of the team. Let him grow up a little bit. No, that's the way it's going to be. You get that Manning name.
Norm and his little dog derisively says the cat guy. So that's what because you're a cat guy. He's a little dog.
Yes, little dog too. He had those two dogs with him all the time. Oh, there's so many Norm Green stories. Oh my God. He just always had ever present. God, he was cocky and arrogant just all the time. And that's the thing I wish, because I know he tried hard to get a deal done at Target Center and improve the Met Center. Louis knows all those stories. He was there in the middle.
Louis knows it all.
Louis knows everything. He's got the bodies where they were buried.
They kept it the Star. Screw them. Come up with a different name. Well, the Colts, they stayed the same. They were the Colts in Baltimore. They're the Colts in Indianapolis. What's wrong? The Browns were the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, and then when the team came back, they got another club there. They called them the Browns. Now, Houston changed from the Oilers when they went to Tennessee.
Right.
Or, did they go to Tennessee? Did the Houston Oilers go to Tennessee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
That's that line from Castaway when Tom Hanks is deserted on an island and he finally comes home and we have a football team. We almost won the Super Bowl. We have a football team in Tennessee?
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah. I think we were in Vegas when that. You were actually out there when I think Tennessee was in this. Yeah, you went out for a rare time. I think that was the Tennessee game when they fell like 2 yards short of the touchdown.
Not even 2 yards. It was like a half
yard.
You're
right.
That's back. Look, that was back in the Look days, and we. That's right. We had. Those were huge trips. You think the power trips were huge? Mm-mm. We had hundreds. We filled their theater. They had this huge theater with a big screen TV. We had literally hundreds and hundreds of people that would go on that trip because we did it at Treasure Island for 2 years, and then I think we did it at
down the Golden Nugget
for 2 years.
I will never forget 98. I don't have to bring up the 98 season for.
Why are you bringing it up?
Because it has to do with Vegas. I was so PO'd after that game because we had 15, 17 tickets for the WCCO TV to go to Miami with the Vikings in the Super Bowl, and there was no way they were not going to get there, et cetera, et cetera. So I was trying to lick my wounds, decided to go to Vegas with the station, and we were staying at the Golden Nugget, and we walked in the lobby, and I saw there was a big sign right by the reception desk that said, "Welcome Viking and Bronco fans." They were so sure that was going to be the Super Bowl. They had a sign up there, and I just about vomited when I saw that. Anyway,
I think you did vomit.
I think I did, but it had nothing to do with maybe it had to do with the 3 margaritas I had before that. Yeah. Anyway, that was a moment I'll remember in the middle of rubbing salt in the wound.
Just saw the promo on ESPN for tonight's Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. We're not in it,
I heard that.
We were supposed to be.
It looks like
the officials got us again. That's the second year in a row the league has had it in for us, and the officials.
Man, is that league and everything taken a turn since the whole Nafisa Collier thing and the players taking not taking sides, but just it's taken on a whole different level beyond the Aces likely winning this series tonight or the next game they play. About the labor agreement, the future of the commissioner. Salary. It's just it's become a lot bigger than the finals of the actual championship. So, Cheryl Reeves situation, it's all of it has been kind of a hot mess.
What do you think is going to happen in the league? Is it going to fold?
No. Oh. No, it's way too much. No. Not going to fold. I think they have to get a new collective bargaining agreement, I think, at some point, and that's what the players are barking about. But it's a complex situation, and it always is. When you talk about labor agreements.
So bye week, you're going to take a little time off?
Yeah. Carl and I were.
You're going to go camping again?
Yeah, we're going with our friends from Cold Spring.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. But no, we're not going to Cold Spring.
You're not going to go camping?
No, unless Charleston's got some campgrounds there.
Charleston?
Never been there before. Yeah, Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see it. They go there. It's kind of a quick weekend type of thing, but that's the only time we can really take off, or Karen can take off at all during the season. Then we'll vacation afterwards. But
right
after the Super Bowl. Bites my tongue.
Well,
you got to keep thinking that way.
I'm not writing them off.
No, you can't write them off.
I like this Wentz kid.
Yeah,
I like Wentz.
I do too. I mean, it was good to see him. That last drive was really good.
You know the best.
It was really, really.
You know what the best part is that he knows. They asked him after the game, "Do you think you should continue to start?" He said, "I've spent a lot of time in my life looking ahead."
Right.
And I'm just gonna. And you know what I'm doing nowadays? He said, "I'm just taking it a moment at a time." And so I think he does realize his days in the league are numbered, more than likely, unless he had this renaissance and became the next Sam Darnold, But his days are numbered, so he's just enjoying it, and he's giving it everything he has, and maybe he's still got, maybe there's still a little bit of magic in that old top
he's healthy. Healthy. I mean, his shoulders, unfortunately hurt his shoulder. I meant his leg. He can still sling it with his right arm.
Shoulder injury. All he's got to do is eat some dirt, rub a little Robitussin on it. He'll be fine.
I mean, 32 is not old. If Joe Flacco is starting this week, he just got traded 2 days ago.
I like that Flacco kid.
I mean, how about... What if he'd be the first quarterback? I think they play the Packers, right?
Yeah.
He'd be the first quarterback, I think, in the history of the NFL to beat a team twice with two different teams. If he beats them, they're like 14.5-point underdogs.
Think about this. If Wentz... Think about this. If after the season is over, Wentz goes to another team that he hasn't played for yet and starts a game, he'll be the only quarterback to start for 7 different teams in 7 consecutive seasons. I think that should be his goal.
Yeah, well, it could.
Super Bowl is probably a little bit lofty, but he should just say, I want to start for a different team as many years in a row as I can so that I have that unbreakable record.
That might be the case. Your Lions kind of have a bye this week, don't they? Play
Kansas City.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. I was thinking the Lions. I'm thinking of someone else.
You know what?
Yeah, they got the Chiefs. That's right. On Sunday Night Football. I'll be back to watch that.
You know what?
Oh, my gosh.
Chiefs are going to be 2-4.
This is a big game for Kansas City.
Oh, my gosh.
After losing that game the way they did. That's
Detroit,
Kansas City.
A tough schedule.
Detroit's going to win. Detroit is going to win.
Well, you get to pick them. I won't be here tomorrow for Spread Swing, but I gave 10 of my picks. So
we can hardly wait.
I know. Well, whatever. I just want to hit. I talked to Deuce, and I just took the opposite of what he was taking.
It's a sound strategy.
It is a sound strategy. You heard it here first. Kansas City's going to lose on Sunday.
Now they might. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't even know if they'll cross the 50-yard line.
Well, it'll be an interest. That will be after losing the way they did the other night. Tough place to win.
They're cocky in Detroit right now. Just in case you haven't noticed, they're really cocky.
Yeah. Well, did they lose an offensive lineman?
Next man up.
Next man up.
We're used to that. We lost 18 players in defense last year. Well, enjoy your time off. We'll see you next. Will you be back next Tuesday?
I'll be back for the rest of the year.
Okay, then we'll see you then. Tenneby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. You didn't really say that like you really meant it.
Hey, great job.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. You too. You had a really great... we'll talk to you tomorrow at 12 noon. Big Ticket and JG, they're next year on the Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota. And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
What are you doing?
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.